Greetings and salutations, everybody. It is Mecha GM, and we're back again with another episode of Three Men and an Anime. We're on episode 99 all of a sudden.
Oh, crap.
That's not correct. That's impossible.
Don't make me look up when we started doing the show, Eric. It'll make me sad.
That's impossible.
Don't make me do it, Eric.
No, that's impossible.
Yeah.
We'll just have it at that. No, that's impossible. Move on.
When was it? When was our first episode?
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
March 17, I think.
You're going to give me hives of existential dread.
We're slowly progressing towards the heat death of the universe. One anime at a time.
First episode was...
That's not so bad. That's just the heat death of the universe.
Fair point. First episode was January 26th, 2016.
Oh, Christ, I was a year late. 7 years!
Yeah.
And it all started over as just going, hey, do you want to watch some anime? Sure.
Yeah. You guys really should watch Space Battleship Yamato 2199.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, 2016 is sort of like the major divergent point for reality. So, you know, if we reset to 2015, I'm okay with
I'm going to say, at least we had something to do during the lockdown years.
This is true, actually. Anywho, we are covering Gav's most recent series selection, Dorohedoro, which was certainly a show.
It was certainly a show. This one popped up on when it came out. It popped up on a lot of the reviewers and the preview. It was really it stood out because the main character is a dude with a crocodile for a head.
Yes.
But it popped up everywhere.
Is fucking cool.
It popped up everywhere and had, from what I understood, relatively good reviews and good opinions.
Yep.
So I thought, yeah, sure, we'll give it a go.
Yeah, and it does this sort of 3D CGI animation.
Mm-hmm.
It was good for the time. It looks not that good. Wasn't great for the time because Land of the Lustrous was about the same time, and that looked great.
Land of the Lustrous, I think, was a couple of years ahead of time.
Might have been.
Honestly.
Same sort of general era though.
Yeah.
But this is Studio Mappa and people who did Chainsaw Man, and you can see the bones of what the animation Chainsaw Man was in this show.
Yeah. Well, Chainsaw Man also makes a point of mixing both 2D and 3D. Dorohedoro is entirely 3D.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's.
I mean, it took us a while to categorize this when we were discussing it afterwards.
Well, so one thing I will say flat out, first off, it is urban fantasy. It's got sort of a magipunk feel to it, largely.
Yep.
It's basically set within two different cities that are kind of quasi-adjacent to each other.
They're
in that sort of interdimensional adjacent sort of thing.
Yeah, they're linked via magical bullshit.
Yeah. And they're basically the main city the city where our protagonists are from is the Hole. It's populated with humans. Our lead, Cayman, the dude with the alligator head, is technically human.
Yes.
And the people from the other city are the sorcerers from the city of sorcerers, and apparently they tend to show up in the Hole and experiment with their magic on humans.
Yeah. I mean, they're also, from what I could tell, human, just also magic.
They consider themselves a different species.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they can produce... Well, the way they describe it is they can produce smoke, which, depending on the user, has different magical qualities.
Yep.
Different power sets, different abilities, different strength, different potency. Yeah. But they are a species that produces smoke, and humans are not.
And the level to which you get your power over your smoke is how powerful you can emit smoke and how good your smoke is does affect your standing within sorcerer society.
Yeah, it's absolutely a class-based system.
Oh yeah. And the Hole is aptly named.
Yeah, it's kind of a wreck. Well, this is the thing. It's essentially a slum.
Yes.
In the same way, honestly, it's in the same way as any, as Peter described it, Magipunk. It's in the same way as any huge cyberpunk
Oh, absolutely.
setting. The city of sorcerers is literally a corpo tower, essentially, and then on occasion, the junior level sorcerers will come down to the slums surrounding said tower and do whatever they want, usually at the expense of the poor, the riffraff in the slum. Literally the exact setting.
Yep.
They basically do practice their various magic shenanigans on people.
Mm-hmm. A lot of it's transformative.
Yep. Because, you don't have to... No consequence if you just fuck up a regular person.
Yep.
Yeah.
There might be problems if you experiment on another sorcerer.
Yeah. Humans are a subspecies, so it's fine.
And they don't live in the same city anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, it's not like they can open doors and come and actually, do anything to hurt us.
Yeah.
Right, that'd be silly. So, Kaiman is the way Kaiman looks the way he does because someone did in fact use their sorcery on him and turned him into a lizard. Now, there are two things special about him other than he's a big dude who's very good at fighting with a lizard head. One of them is that he's now basically immune to magic.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he's got a dude's head in his mouth.
He's also amnesiac. He doesn't remember anything from before he had his head combobulated.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the main synopsis for the show is essentially Kaiman is an amnesiac trying to figure out his origins. The only thing that he knows is that he has a dude inside his mouth. And anytime he's fighting a sorcerer, he tends to clamp onto their head. We get this inside his mouth shot, which is essentially kind of almost like in another dimension kind of jobby, where the guy in the head, the guy inside looks at the sorcerer in question, and to what we say, always says, "You are not the one."
Yes. Because Kaiman is looking apparently the dude in his mouth knows what the person who did this to Kaiman looks like, apparently. And Kaiman very much wants to find said sorcerer because the only way to undo a transformation is to either kill or make the sorcerer undo it willingly.
Yeah.
So, and Kaiman very much wants to be back to normal, basically.
Yeah.
Whatever that might be for him. And that's sort of the main premise. He does have a very good friend of his, Nikaido, who is a blonde. She's a blonde.
She's a blonde short order cook who also kicks ass at fighting.
Boy, howdy, does she kick ass! Now I will say,
does not
to be
have
fair,
a secret in any way, shape, or form.
No, she does not. Absolutely not. Kaiman also kicks all kinds of ass. Let's be real. The two of them are a whirlwind of destruction together.
Honestly, the only two people that don't kick all kinds of ass while fighting are the two schmucko sorcerers we end up following.
Yes. So yeah, Kaiman is, and so that's sort of the inciting. That's where we start. We start with them fighting a pair of sorcerers, trying to fight, and Kaiman glomps one of them in his mouth, and not the one, so he kills the dude. Because
he generally always murders sorcerers that he comes across as well.
Yes, because fuck sorcerers.
Yeah,
especially if they're not people, they say so themselves.
Yes. Also, if they're in the hole, they're probably there to experiment on normal people. So fuck them.
Fuck them. Yeah.
There's a fair bit of prejudice against sorcerers in the hole for what I like to say is probably somewhat justifiable, understandable is the way to phrase it.
Yeah.
Understandable reasons. And there are exceedingly few sorcerers who do not deserve the scorn that is heaped upon them by the humans in the hole.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to it as we go through, but there are some...
You meet exactly one.
Yeah, pretty much. There's two that you can sort of understand. Maybe they don't seem to experiment on humans, but they also don't really care about killing them. They
Yeah,
do
to be honest, the better sorcerers that we meet, generally are the ones that don't actually encounter humans all that much. They stick to their own business and stay in the magician's.
Yep.
I'll
city.
point out the two that are kind of not terrible to humans. They're professional hitmen.
Yes, they are. Oh no, they're not.
Yeah.
They're not good people. They're just
Well,
less objectionable.
Yes.
But they are professional hitmen. Yes.
But yeah, well, I mean, it's like I said, not to go into it too early because it's definitely a discussion for later on. But there are a lot of very strange, confused themes in this show.
Yes.
About what is and isn't acceptable. Like things that in the real world would be absolutely abhorrent, but it's like, oh, it's fine. It's just the way things are. Which is an excuse that's popping up more and more often in real life these days. So
Yeah.
it's like,
At any rate, so the first few episodes are basically follow us. They primarily follow Kaiman and Nikaido, and I do think a lot of the incredible goodwill the show got from reviewers early on is in no small part based on they mostly just watched the first few episodes.
yeah, I can imagine that.
Which honestly, like usually you can with the first three episodes you can form a really solid opinion on a show.
Yeah.
I think we all were enjoying the show a fair bit in the first few episodes, legitimately.
Yeah.
I think I was enjoying it less than because this is less my cup of tea. But
the promise of where it could go was
yes,
like,
I will say also.
And
so
with
go
the
ahead,
exceptions of my issues with the animation, because it's trying so hard to get there, but it's not there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it passed the three episode test for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I would have. It was good enough to keep watching, but I'm not sure it had fully hooked me. But I thought, yeah, there's a lot of promise in the show. There's some really interesting ideas.
The thing that I'm noticing a lot lately is with that whole thing, the meme that is the 3 episode test.
Yeah.
Studios are wise to that now.
Yeah, they kind of are. I mean, I'll be honest.
Not foreshadowing the rest of this review.
I will also say I'm actually pretty good at forming an opinion on one episode a lot of the time. Usually I'm pretty...
Yeah.
Like, most of the time, one episode's enough to know. Like, there are exceptions to that. There's... one we covered was Madoka Magica. Like...
Yeah.
The first 2 episodes do not tell you the whole story. You do not know where everything is going until episode 3 with Madoka Magica.
Yep.
But yeah, so
yeah, I mean, with Madoka Magica, the show lies for the first 3 episodes,
and it's intentionally lying for the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, wasn't it Madoka Magica that basically started the 3 episode test?
Probably
think it was.
That might have been where it got codified.
It was the meme because that's the 3rd episode. Now we're into the story. What do you think?
But there was always this sort of you might want to give a show more than just the first episode to form your opinion because sometimes the show doesn't really hit its stride for a little while. And sometimes the first episode is not really indicative of what the rest of the show is going to be.
And sometimes a show, like you say, sometimes a show takes a while to hit its stride. And in Dorehedoro's case, I think it's planning to hit its stride in season 3.
So a Star Trek series, gotcha.
Kinda. But yeah, needless to say, I would say our overall opinion of the show, we'll get our sort of, in case we spoil stuff and you want to watch it cold, and just want to know what our recommendation are. It's good. It's okay. It's fine.
It is admirable for what it attempts, but doesn't ever stick the landing.
It doesn't. Yeah.
It has all the ingredients.
Yeah.
Like, imagine you're putting together like the perfect fucking beef stew, right? You get everything together, all in a pot, and then instead of putting it on the stove to slow cook, you bung it in the microwave. That's the show. It's like
I'm not even sure that they mistook to put it in the microwave. I think they did in fact put it on the stove, but they didn't let it simmer for too long or turn the heat too high or something.
They just put it on like 10 degrees and then buggered off out for the afternoon and forgot about it.
It's just so
It's all there, but it just doesn't come together.
It does not come together. For us, it didn't come together. Now, should you watch it? It's worth giving it a shot. It might hit you better than hit us, like legitimately.
The legitimate problem with this show is it is unfinished.
Yeah, and let me just say, this is a warning for you if you're going into the show. It very clearly is setting up a season 2, which we're pretty sure from everything we read is not going to get.
No.
Now, there's a manga for it, which apparently is basically complete. You could go read the manga if you want to know where things going.
Season 1, and Eric mentioned it earlier, and when we discussed this, like I say, it's basically this show feels absolutely like a prototype for Chainsaw Man.
Yes.
And that's exactly how they treated it. It came out, they gave it the first season, whether they had intentions to do a second season or not, because of when it came out, it was right on the cusp of lockdown. Because it was 2020, I think it came out.
Yep.
Whether it was intended to have another season, I don't know, but from everything that I've read, any plans that it did have are gone. This is not getting a second season, and it sure as hell ain't getting the third season. So yeah, this is basically, you can watch it as a primer and then go finish the story in the
manga.
In the manga, but yeah, unfortunately, it's an unfinished story.
So just as a heads up, that is the biggest problem that we got to the end of the series and we're like, oh, huh. Because it really felt like, yeah, now we're setting up for where the story's actually to go, and no. We're done.
It does that annoying first season thing as well, where it just sets up questions after question after question after question after question.
Oh my god!
By the end, and then you get into the last 3 episodes, it answers one and then asks 8 more.
Yeah,
there are so many plot points running, alongside each other in this show, all at the same time, and none of them get answered in season 1.
Now, I will say, to its credit, I find most characters interesting and entertaining.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially, Kaiman is probably the least interesting, and he's fun.
I'd say
he's
N
at least
probably
fun.
The least interesting.
But he's at least fun.
Yeah. Kaiman is fun. I find N to be the least interesting.
Oh, I forgot about N. And
N's
the primary antagonist, and
yeah.
He's... God, I want to like N more than I do. By the way, we watched the English dub because that's just what happened to come up on Netflix when Gav was watching it, and the voice acting's really good. Like,
yes,
and boy, howdy, N's voice actor does everything he can do with that role.
Yeah,
he is trying so hard with that role to make N more interesting than he is.
The problem I have with N is that he's such a confused character, and again we discussed this. It feels like the author just wants... It's like, this is my character. I want everyone to love all of my characters. But not understanding why people like a good villain.
Yeah.
Like, they don't write a good character. They write a likable character who does really shitty things.
Honestly, I'm going to disagree slightly. I think N is sort of the avatar for the show, in that he's got a lot of really interesting elements that don't cook together well.
Yeah.
Like he's an evil mastermind that turns people to mushrooms, then he eats those mushrooms, and he's like chasing immortality, and he's got his minions who do his stuff for him. But he also has this pink fuzzy dog that he loves to death and is a bit of a goofball sometimes.
And he genuinely gives a shit about his underlings. Like,
yes.
Like, he genuinely cares about his people who work for him. Like, he's a great boss.
Reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of, like, Jojo Rabbit's version of Hitler.
I haven't seen that yet.
It's the same. It's a trope. You take someone who is historically a monster, and then make them personable and friendly, and and how and likable. Basically, you're taking somebody whose actions are abhorrent. And, I mean, literally, this dude has ruined the name Adolf for all time.
Right.
Right? You don't get kids named Adolf anymore. Right? But if you sit down and talk to him, he's a lovely guy. You sit down, have tea, That's kind of the thing they're going for with N. It's like, he does horrific things. But then at the same time, you're supposed to like him, and, like, he's personable and caring about his underlings, and...
You know what?
It's weird.
N feels like the first draft of an important member of the Guild of Calamitous Intent from Venture Brothers. He feels like the first draft of an entertaining, slightly goofy supervillain.
Yeah, I mean,
that is part of a larger organization of goofy supervillains.
Yeah, he just doesn't. The piece, as you said, Eric, the pieces are all there. They just didn't actually bother using the super glue to put them together.
Yeah. He is a dry fit of Red Death from Venture Brothers. That's what he is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he's got the same thing. He cares about his people. He fucking loves killing people. He's very good at his job. He has things he cares about.
He is? You know what he is? He's Dr. Evil. Except he actually,
he's more threatening than Dr. Evil.
I mean, he's actually threatening. I mean, that's part of it.
Well, yeah.
He does carry a significant amount of menace, but Dr. Evil carries no menace.
Oh, that first scene when he burns Will Ferrell alive, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, but everyone burns Will Ferrell alive.
But no, yeah, like I say, it's just really like I get it from the underlings side of things. Like they're doing a job, they owe him, they're workers, they do horrible things on his orders, but they're very kind of. At least Shin is anyway. They're very kind of just pragmatic about it. Like it's just what we do. And even Noi is like, she's a lot more upbeat and positive. But at the end of the day, like, again, pragmatism. She does what she does. She's happy to admit, to the people she's about to murder brutally. Sorry guys, it's nothing personal. Dead. But N just. Yeah, I don't like him on screen.
Yeah.
It's like he should have been not in this show anywhere near as much as he is. And should have been far more defined of whether he's going to be. He almost feels like one of those assholes that's going to become a protagonist later on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's friendly enough that he'll join the crew, except he's turning people into mushrooms and feeding to his friends.
Yeah.
Like make up your mind with him, man.
Like I said, N feels like the first draft of a Venture Brothers villain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now to make up for these for N and Kaiman, like the rest of the main cast, pretty fucking great. Like Nikaido is just a delight. Like she's great, love her to death. And Shin and Noi are. Goddamn,
carry this show.
They are great.
Yeah, they absolutely carry this show.
They carry the show.
Like they are both, as Eric said, they're hitmen. They are brutal hitmen, but they are very professional about it.
But they're honestly just a couple of like fucking goofballs that are just a joy to watch do shit.
Yeah, like and they genuinely give a shit about each other. Like they're partners, and they are best friends. Like and. They are very much.
They're platonic life mates.
Oh yeah,
is what they are.
Absolutely. I mean,
but you get a lot of the comedy out of them. Like the one of the opening scenes where we meet them is like they're doing a hit, and this is a magical hit. So of course it's not a case of just leave the bodies. It's like they literally take somebody's head because Shin has the ability to slice people up to ribbons without actually killing them.
And Noi can heal people.
And Noi can heal people. So Shin basically they take somebody's head for questioning, and you get this scene outside where like Shin's like, "Did you get him?" Noi's like, "Yep, got him right here in a bin bag," which rips. And Noi's like, "Oh, I got him all over my leg," and Shin's like, "I told you to bring the strong bags." That's what happens when you buy the cheap shit. Completely off the cuff, completely like nonchalant about, it's a dude's head.
Yeah.
It's just what they do.
Yep. Yeah, they're both very entertaining, and and they also serve as foils for Kaiman and Nikaido.
Mm-hmm.
There are definite, like, you can draw parallels between those two pairings, and if the show had really focused on just. If they really focused on Kaiman and Nikaido and Shin and Noi and really just focused on those two, it would have worked a whole lot fucking better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because there's something there to like play them off each other and to contrast them and such.
Even in the fights, you've got Noi, who's the powerhouse, generally against Nikaido, who's the technician, versus and Kaiman, who's the powerhouse, versus Shin, who's the technician.
Yeah.
So you've got like the interplay of them, even in something as simple as a fight.
Yep.
It's not the dude fights the dude and the girl fights the girl, because
I mean that's what happens the first time they fight, but
it is. But in most cases, it's actually a running joke. Most people don't realize Noi is a girl until she takes her hood off.
Her mask off, yeah.
Because she's this hulking fucking brute.
Because she's a fucking jacked super chick.
Yep.
Yeah. But like they're also like, honestly, they're kind of the heart of the show. Because I mean, yeah, they'll kill if they're ordered to. If they're not ordered to,
yeah, they don't go out of their way to kill people.
Yeah,
and like Noi likes fighting, but she doesn't particularly get anything out of killing people.
Yeah.
I mean, killing is just for her. Killing is just the natural extension of fighting. Fighting is lots of fun, and when you win the fight, someone's dead. So it's just part of the deal.
Like there's a bit later on where it all breaks down and people are taken hostage and whatever else. Noi and Shin actually are the ones to recapture the hostages, but they haven't been told to kill anyone. They've not been told what to do with them when they catch them. So they're like, cool, you want to go back to our hideout? Are you hungry? Do you want food? We've got beer. Do you want beer? Cool.
Yeah. No, they're great characters.
Really
the other two sources we follow around a fair bit are Fujita and Ebisu.
Oh god. Ebisu is quite possibly.
Ebisu is an amnesiac who gets her face bitten off by Kaiman initially, and spends the rest of the show being an absolutely adorable little gremlin girl.
Yes.
She's
the comedic heart of the show. She spikes a lot of the comedy, even if she's not like directly. She'll just make a comment in the back, and like you'll forget she was there, and then she'll just pipe up with some random thing, and it's like, oh god.
And they very thankfully don't overuse her, because you could overuse her if you're not careful.
Yes.
But they don't. Fujita is
the sad sack.
He's a sad sack, and he's actually kind of funny.
Yeah. No, he's also very funny, and he's the sad sack.
Yeah.
He's an incompetent sorcerer who's looking for another partner, and ends up getting settled with Ebisu while she regains her memory. And it's a lot of them just, like, sad sack and gremlin, like, just palling around and causing trouble.
Yep.
Well, we meet him in the first episode, because they're literally the first sorcerers that we see Kaiman and Nikaido fight. And, his partner gets turned into guacamole. Like,
Kaiman just cuts him into cubes, basically.
Yeah.
By the way, when we mentioned Kaiman is the powerhouse and Nikaido is the technician, do not undersell Kaiman's incredible skill with a knife or Nikaido's actual physical strength.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just that they slant one way or the other more. Kaiman is a lot faster than he looks, and Nikaido is a lot more powerful than she looks. And she looks pretty strong.
But yeah, the first couple of episodes is sorry, I've forgotten his name already. I did have the wiki. Fujita, yeah. It's Fujita basically trying to figure out a way of getting vengeance on Kaiman
for killing his partner,
for the death of his partner. Because again, it's something they don't really cover, but apparently is a thing in the sorcerer world. Being partners with someone is also very important. They don't say why, other than you literally link your souls to another to a partner until said partner is dead or something else happens. Again, it's another plot point they bring up but don't really explain.
I mean, that soul link in and of itself is an understandable big deal, but yeah.
It's a big deal, but we don't understand why they do it. Is it for more power? Is it for just a contract for the sake of signing a contract, or we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
But basically, yeah,
it's clearly it's definitely something.
They definitely has some import behind it. Like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There are non-consensual. We see non-consensual contracts, and we see that it's completely non-sexual. The partners aren't even always friends, but it is important to have a partner.
Yeah, and N's whole shtick is that he's looking for a sorcerer that can control time to form a contract with. Again, that's all he tells us. We don't know what forming that contract will really do for him.
Well, we do get that when he does form a contract with someone and it's against their will, he does basically brainwash them. So
yeah. But anyway, it's implied that obviously the initial two are partners, and obviously then God, I need to get this page up. Here we go. Fujita is basically his whole shtick is he's now trying to get revenge.
Yep.
Which is when he meets. I am terrible with names today.
Ebisu, yeah.
Yeah, he meets Ebisu, saves her from being completely killed by Kaiman, and then they start to hang around. Or rather, he kind of chaperones her and like.
Well, he and Ebisu get sort of sucked into N's crime family, basically.
Yeah. But she is literally an automaton for a while. She's just walking around, doesn't say anything until her memories start to come back. So he basically becomes her babysitter.
Yeah.
That's basically his first job as part of N's crew, basically.
Yeah.
Because they think that she might have some tie to Kaiman, and every implication is she's the one who actually turned Kaiman into a lizard.
Yeah.
But again, we don't know this for certain because that wasn't completely clear. That wasn't completely settled in the first season. So
yeah.
Yep. It is discovered later in the season that her power is lizard transformation.
Yes.
Yeah.
But whether she actually is responsible for Kaiman, we don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, after that, the only other characters really we haven't mentioned are the crew from the Hole,
and the two doctors and the devils.
Two doctors, and the devils themselves. Yes.
Yeah.
So Kaiman works for a doctor at a clinic. Bald-headed, grumpy dude.
Whose name is not on the list.
He works alongside Professor Kusakabe. Who was a scientist who studied sorcerers for a very long time. But yeah, so the doc. Basically, I think the doctor's only basically referred to as the doctor, as Doc, basically, most of the time. So
quite probably, yeah. But yeah, the doc. Basically, Kaiman's job is it's a clinic which specializes in undoing the damage that the magic. The sorcerers do,
or at least managing
to members, or at least managing it. Yeah, either disposal or healing or whatever.
Helping someone just deal with why they've been transformed, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kaiman's whole shtick being there is because the doc was the one they took him to.
Yep.
So he's like, I don't know who I am. They came up with his name. They give him a job, something to do, give him a life, and hopefully, work out who and what he is. And he's been there basically ever since in that area. He basically goes home, hospital, and then to Nikaido's little restaurant for food. That's his routine.
Yep.
In between hunting sorcerers and eating their heads.
Yes. Oh, and defending this, helping defend the city against zombie infestations occasionally.
Yeah.
It's a tradition. That's a holiday tradition.
Basically, yes.
Apparently, because of the saturation of magic, once a year the dead rise in the hole.
And the residual magics.
And the monks have turned it into a festival of celebration, where all the nutcases in the hole go around, kill as many zombies as they can, and can turn in their chips for prizes.
Yep.
Yeah.
That alone would make a great show.
Like, legitimately, there's a lot of really great ideas in here that don't get enough time, honestly.
It's like Chuck E. Cheese mashed into The Walking Dead.
Kind of. Like, legitimately, the hole's a really interesting setting.
It is.
Like,
it really is.
I really, really wish the show focused, like, both the hole and the City of Sorcerers are really interesting settings into themselves, like, legitimately.
Yes.
And if the show had more time to breathe and do stuff, they could do both.
You know what I kind of wish?
What?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
What I kind of wish they'd done for season 1? Season 1 should have been purely in the hole.
I agree.
With Noin and Shin acting as kind of like an outpost for the sorcerers, like operating in and around. Hell, even like policing the sorcerers that come over and get out of hand. Like they're not assassins. Have them as a cleanup crew. They're called cleaners anyway. They're a cleanup crew for people who've gone over the top and trying to stop people getting killed by Kaiman.
Now, mind you, you could keep the basic premise of the show, but focus everything in the whole, except for occasionally flashing back to the City of Sorcerers, just for things at N's HQ where N, Shin, Noi, and like the crew, the main sorcerer crew that we have, but like, but focus mostly in the whole. And end of season 1 is when they go to the City of Sorcerers the first time.
Yeah,
correct. Yes.
That's how that is how it would flow better and give more time to breathe, in my opinion. Now, I'm not a professional writer, so I'm like I dabble, but I'm not like.
But consider like, this is a 12-episode show.
Yeah.
Half of it is in the hole. Half of it is in the
City of Sorcerers, whatever.
City of Sorcerers, and we still have time for a baseball episode,
which was fun.
Oh, geez, I forgot about the baseball episode.
Don't get me wrong, the baseball episode was fun. And I wouldn't want to cut it, but like that's
the zombie episode, as you just mentioned.
Yeah,
the whole episodes with huge set pieces going off in them, which are only like tangentially attached to the actual plot in a 12-episode show.
Yeah.
The flow and the pacing of this show is kind of ass.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It is rushed and nothing gets resolved.
Like the writers absolutely thought they had more TV time coming.
It feels like it, yeah. It really does. Like it is unfortunately, as I said, like they rush everything but don't get anything done. Like it's a lot of hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they just don't have It's like
a Warhammer player. He's like, ooh, these are new models. I need to get these painted. Ooh, new box. That's no spill. I need to find these models. Ooh, new box.
I'm in this picture. I don't like it.
I'm not bringing that up for any particular reason. It's not relevant to myself at all. But yeah, it's literally like new plot line, forget it. Start a new plot line, forget it. Start a new plot line, forget it. Start a new plot line.
Now they all sort of technically tied together, and they all sort of leading in the same general direction.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't get resolved, and it at times feels like an Abrams mystery box, but it's very clear it's not, is my opinion. Like I'm pretty sure the authors know where they're going with this shit. It's just that, we don't get to see it in the show, and maybe they do in the manga, I don't know. I can't comment.
It's like a lot of writers they word it as like threads. Mm-hmm. When you're talking to a writer, they'll word it as like story threads, plot threads that will intertwine and eventually come together into the core of the story, and it'll all work with no loose ends. That's literally where the phrase comes from. The writer here is go web go. You're just like everywhere. Will it come together?
Maybe.
Don't know.
So yeah, it's an interest. Like there's so many little ideas that pop up here and there that are just like a lot of the stuff in the City Sorcerers is really freaking cool.
There are so many good ideas.
And there are like lots of really great side characters who show up for a couple episodes and then disappear because,
they're not needed anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the other one as well. Another set piece. The fucking food trucks.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
That
Which
whole
is funny.
thing that,
Again,
it's funny. 12 episodes, guys.
There are 3 episodes that are just these set piece episodes that are great on their own. But, we need to tie some of these plot threads together, guys. Come on, please. Now, I would be I could see dropping the baseball episode, and I could see dropping the food truck thing, but, actually, I can't. Yeah. Because the food truck thing does, again, it advances the, quote, plot, end quote.
In the background of it, yeah.
The baseball one sort of, a little bit.
The thing that it is, it's like, those kind of set piece shows with a little bit of the plot, important stuff running in the background, that's the kind of thing, it feels like filler. Like, we need to progress the story a little bit, not too much, so we're going to fill the rest of the episode with this B plot. Sure, great. Guys, you have B, C, D, E, F, G plots that are not coming together. Use your time wisely. If you want to pad out the story and not progress the A plot too much, resolve something else. Don't
oh my God.
Start another one.
It's a Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's add more different plot threads and things keep branching out and going elsewhere and elsewhere. And I have no idea how to tie them all together, so we're just not going to write the rest of the books.
Don't be ridiculous. Martin's writing just takes him a while.
Yeah. But no, it is instead of looking at what they already have, there's another 5 ideas they want to try and squeeze in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, we're talking about an adaptation of a manga, and they're clearly trying to. I think they're truly trying to compress too many chapters of the manga into too few episodes. Yes. I think the real problem.
And this is the thing, and I've mentioned this. I know people are iffy about live action adaptations, but the thing about the One Piece adaptation that everyone's raving about at the moment, the one complaint it gets, well, apart from the obvious one from the man children, the one main complaint that it gets is that things are out of order. Some things have been left out. Some things have been moved around. This is why.
Yeah. Hey guys,
the reason Tom Bombadil got left out of the Lord of the Rings movies, this is why.
Yeah.
It's pacing.
Yeah.
It's pacing and cohesion of the story for the
medium of choice.
Medium that it's in, and for the series as a whole. You have to move things around and make things make sense. If you try and go verbatim every single thing in the book and smash it into another medium, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, you have to make sure you have to change some things, and things will have to be cut unless you want the runtime to be 8 years.
Yes.
But yeah, no, that's its biggest issue. Is legitimately they are. I don't know what's been they might have cut stuff too, but they might have cut the wrong stuff is the problem.
Too many ideas, not enough time, and the pacing is sacrificed.
Oh my God!
And I'm sorry if we're harping on at the same point over and over, and it keeps coming up.
It's the sort of the defining trait of the show, really.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: we're kind of really shitting on the show. It's not that bad.
It's not. No. It really isn't.
It's honestly
it's fun.
Actually almost good. It's just not quite there yet. And
honestly, this show is it. Like I say, the reason we're shitting on it is because we're disappointed.
Yeah.
It has all the ingredients. It looks like a show that should be, especially for me and Eric.
Yeah.
This should be a show for us, but it's just not quite there. If you want to see us really shit on a show that should have been for us, go back and watch Killing Bites.
Jesus Christ, what a shit show that was.
No, don't watch the show. Watch our episode on it.
Watch our episode on it, yeah. That is us shitting on a show we don't like.
And with all 3 of our opinions, with very good reason.
Yeah.
No, it's all seriousness. This show is fine. It is not bad. in any way.
It's just unfinished.
And it's got a bunch of great characters that are a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, you could just spend, like, there are worse ways to spend an afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. No, like, if you want to watch an episode every now and then, go for it. It's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think, honestly, I think this show is probably better served by watching one episode a week or so.
Yeah.
Just because that way, like, the pacing is less of a problem. Like, if you watch an episode every now, like, yeah, the weird pacing is not gonna, like, bother you as much as it did for me watching it. 6 episodes and then 6 episodes. And again, like, the voice acting's great. And most of the characters are fantastic. Like, and like the animation's not great, but the actual I'm not a huge fan of the character designs, but the setting design, like the background work,
the actual setting and the world building they do is
just
great.
like the visuals of the whole are like the actual buildings are great.
The character design, the world building, like so much of this is great. The characters are themselves great, with the exception of N, who again is just the glue didn't quite stick.
Yeah, he's not a bad character. He's just not a good character either.
Peter is right. The VA absolutely saves N.
Oh my god!
If he'd have had a bad VA who just didn't breathe any life into him, he would have been unbearable.
Yeah, and honestly, like one of the problems that with N is that his weaknesses are shown in that much starker relief because he's spending all his time hanging out with friggin' Shin and Noi, who are just a delight to hang out with, to be around.
Yeah.
If they are making you explode.
Oh my god. Like, again, this is not a bad show. It really is not. As I said at the beginning, like, it's worth checking out to see if it's your cup of tea. Like,
yeah. I mean, I'm actually kind of reluctant now to go any further into the story itself. Because
I don't think it like going into the more of the plot. I don't think actually we don't need to. Like, it's like legitimately, there's some really interesting plot ideas in there. Like, legitimately, really interesting. They don't click together for us. Maybe they work better for you. Maybe we missed something. That's entirely possible. Like, legitimately.
Possible, but like I said, I think the biggest issue for me, at the very least, is because I'm not really a manga reader.
Yep.
Like, if you're a manga reader on the regular, watch this by all means. Get an eye, because I actually do feel that anime or live action or moving media basically gives you a stronger idea of the characters in your head. So when you're then reading like a manga, you've got that voice template, that attitude template to overlay onto what you're reading. Because I'm a very visual reader. When I'm reading something. Characters get faces, they get voices, they get attitudes. It's just something my head does.
No, different people pick up things differently in that way. It's right, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think having the this is a point of reference for all of that would actually help. But by all means, use this as a primer, get all the questions, and then go find the manga and get the answers.
Yeah, it ran for about 8 years, and actually, sorry, I am incorrect. It apparently ran for 18 years, monthly. It was a monthly series that ran apparently for 18 years. It's got 23 volumes.
That's impressive. Hang on a second then.
So it's got 167 chapters apparently.
Dorehedoro cover. The anime ends at around chapter 40.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. I'm not surprised. It feels like there's a lot more to the story than we got in the anime, like legitimately.
Yeah.
And it's sad that we're not gonna. I'm actually a little sad we're not going to get it because I think this show could have, if it had gotten a second season, it might have been able to get its feet under it. Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe not. Like, who knows? We'll never know. But yeah, I said this like multiple times as we were watching it that I want to like this more than I did.
Yeah,
like I want to like this series, and I don't dislike it. It's just sort of, Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
And
Also,
it's got some really fun characters too.
Also, I will mention as we were watching it, it's currently on Netflix. There is an OVA episode at the end.
Yeah. Don't bother with the OVA, honestly.
No. What it boils down to is a bunch of unrelated I won't say non-canon because some of them are, but unrelated stories. Some are background, some are drug-induced fever dreams. And essentially they're just little snippets, they should have been stingers, basically, at the end of the episode. Kind of like Adult Swim kind of situations, you know. There's one or two of them which is like an origin story for Nikaido. Again, for me, it's kind of indicative of the story, you know, the way that it's been written all in all, because like they're nonsensical. They make like if this is why did you spend time writing and animating the tale of the fucking
Gyoza Spirit?
Gyoza Spirit.
That one,
Oh, right.
When you could have been spending more time on the actual fucking story.
I don't know. I will say, of the shorts, my favorite was definitively the one where Nikaido's teaching Kaiman how to make gyoza. That was like...
Yes. Yeah.
It was like, wow, that... I like seeing that. I genuinely like their friendship. Like, that's one of the things I really like about this show.
That one and Nikaido's origin.
Yeah, like her,
absolutely.
Like how she got the restaurant. Like that was a great little episode.
They could have been in the show themselves instead of the fucking baseball episode. B, you could have included them as end of episode stingers.
Yeah.
No problem at all. Like they're about 3 or 4 minutes. Done.
Yeah, I don't know.
Instead, we've got a fucking 20-minute episode of the Gyoza Spirit going around and
that was again only like 3 minutes, but yeah, it felt longer.
Felt like 20.
It felt a lot longer than. God. Oh. Anywho, I think that largely covers our sort of thoughts in the show. Like.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll go into final thoughts. This is gonna be a short episode. So me, then Eric, then Gav, because it's your pick, Gav. Overall, it was fine. It was fine out of 10. Like it's not bad. The animation was experimental and didn't work as well as it could have. I don't think. I think the characters are most of the characters are great. Like legitimately. Like I really, really enjoyed like most of the main characters outside of basically N. I even like Kaiman. He's just not interesting. He's fun.
He's big dumb anime protag.
Largely. Yeah. But like his friendship with Nikaido really helps him, like as a character. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like their genuine camaraderie is wonderful. And Shin and Noi's friendship is like equally great. And you can sort of see the beginnings of Ebisu and Fujito's friendship, like a friendship starting between them, despite the fact that Ebisu seems to like the two of them they're never quite on the same page yet.
Yeah,
largely because Fujito's a sad sack and Ebisu is a chaos gremlin.
Yeah.
And N is a character that really needs more work. But the voice acting in the dub at least, and I would not be shocked if I found out the voice acting in the main show in the Japanese version is equally good. Because like holy cow, the voice acting is really good, especially N. Like,
yeah.
Keith Silverstein, like give that man his flowers. He did the best he could with a limited character. Holy cow. The overall the music's good in the show too, and as I said, this like the actual design of the setting like visually how the whole and the City of Sorcerers look is fantastic. They do a great job with that. Like I think that's the best part of the visuals of the show, like hands down, is just the environments. But yeah, I want to like the show more than I did. It's fine. And I actually like overall check it out. I do recommend checking it out and seeing if it's more your speed than it was mine.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of where I'm done, Eric.
So the animation's not there. It wants to be. It's trying real hard, but it's not there. It's just not great. Although it's trying real hard, and I appreciate them experimenting with different techniques and trying to get it up and running. That's fine. Yeah, it's just a nothing quite clicks with the show. Visually, it's like the animation's not there, but the design is really great. The characters are all really fun, but they don't interact with each other terribly well outside of their designated pairs. Like Shin and Noi are great together, but they don't really interact with En all that well. Kaiman and What's-Her-Face are great together, but don't really interact that well with anyone else. Sad Sack and Chaos Gremlin are amazing together, but again, they don't really click with anyone else. Everything's just a little off, like slightly off on the assembly instructions. Like, it's like when you get a piece of IKEA furniture and you end up with leftover bits. It's kind of like that. Like you're pretty sure this Allen wrench goes to something, but you can't figure out what. And you don't read Swedish, and the visual instructions are just not very good. And it's sort of the vibe I get from the show. Like there's a lot I really like about this show. Like I said, like Peter said, it's just a lot of things that are really great in there, and there is the seed of something pretty kick-ass for a story there, but I can't seem to find where it's wanting to bloom. And yeah, it's. I imagine if this had 3 seasons, season 2 would be really good, and season 3 would be amazing. But this is very much a season of trying to get your shit together, and I don't think they're going to get another season to get it together.
No.
And yeah, that's kind of. Yeah, it's kind of my opinion. Worst ways to spend an afternoon than watching this show. It's fine. It's cool. It's just, it's just not great, and it has the potential to be great, and that's what annoys me about it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of sums it up for me as well. It's like, once again, it's like I started off saying, all the ingredients are there, but they just don't mix. They don't get them in the right proportions. It just doesn't come together. It's unfinished, which is the biggest problem. And as I say, they felt like they were trying to cram so much story into this 12-episode show that they were given. And as we've said, there's about 40 chapters of the manga pressed in here. And I don't think they did a good job of picking what things they should have left and what things they could have omitted. Again, it's not a bad show. By all means, I would say watch it, but just go into it knowing that you're not going to be left with a full ending. You're going to need, if you are bothered about it, you're going to need to go and do a little bit of reading and catch up and find out what happened. I may do it the wiki way. I'll just get the broad strokes because I'm not really a manga reader. I may go and do it because I'm a stickler for that. I cannot leave a story unfinished. I'll need to know what actually happens. Now they've set about 30 different plot points going. I need answers to at least half of them. But like I say, we're being harsh because we kind of wanted it to be a lot better than it is. And it definitely has potential there. It just didn't come together.
Yeah. So close.
Also, Peter, for reference.
Yep.
I was looking up as you mentioned it, the Japanese dub actor of N.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got history.
Yeah.
Dating back to the original Japanese Transformers show in 1985.
Damn.
Samurai Pizza Cats. He's Japanese Leonardo of the Turtles. He was in Bebop. He was Pain in Naruto. He's the Japanese Professor Oak in Pokemon. This guy, yeah, I have no doubt that N in Japanese is just as good as he is in English. But yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah. All right. So I guess that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you all for listening. I hope you enjoyed. Next episode will be the 100th episode.
It will.
Which means I've got to pick something for that. Fuck. I don't know what we're doing yet, honestly. I'm weighing a bunch of different ideas. I might just do some random normal pick. I might not go, yeah, we're going to do something special for episode 100. No, we're not. We're going to be mark episode 100 with just another episode. I'm actually a little tempted to do that, honestly. But yeah, legitimately, thank you all for being with us through this long ass journey of going through a whole bunch of anime and mostly good stuff. I think we've had exactly 6 episodes where we covered something we wouldn't actually recommend. Out of 99, that's a pretty good hit rate, I think.
Yeah, we're generally pretty good on that.
Yeah.
Well, we generally
find things that are good.
Yeah, we don't try to inflict stuff on our friends that we don't like. Anyways, that's going to do it for this episode, folks. Thank you so very much for watching. If you're listening on YouTube, hi YouTube.
Hi YouTube.
Hello, YouTube. Hello.
Like, comment, subscribe, etc. Get that out of the way. Anyways,
Hello,
that's it.
File algorithm.
Yeah, well, it helps, Eric. So shut up. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this episode, folks. Thank you so very much for watching. We will see you all next time. And take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.